everybody, Charles for HumbleMechanic.com. This is episode 32 of the Humble Mechanic Podcast. And today we're going to be talking about something that I feel like I'm a pretty good person to talk about. And that's looking professional versus being professional. And if you've made it up to this point in this video, you probably are thinking the same thing I am. Man, this dude doesn't look very professional at all. But that's okay, because that gives me the perfect perspective to talk about it. Before we get rolling in the show, on another video, one of you guys asked me about something that when I have the table out here, I actually have everything lower because it's the only table I have in the garage. And somebody pointed out that I had a head gasket sitting on the ground. So let me actually show you what that is. It's a mock-up of a VR6 head gasket with a VW emblem down at the bottom that a company I found on Instagram made for me, which is super awesome. This thing is so cool. They're called like Metal Art of Wisconsin. I'll link to them because I'm not 100% sure that's what they're called, but super cool thing. So when you're watching the videos where I'm doing something on the table, you guys know the table that wobbles back and forth. That's what it is. I just haven't found a really cool place in the garage to hang it yet. So anyway, let's rock on with the show. So the reason that I'm talking about this today is actually something that happened to me today, and it happens a lot. So, it doesn't bother me, but every once in a while you're like, really? Come on. I got called up front, or I happened to be up front, and a customer had a question. They were concerned about the behavior of their car. It was actually their DSG transmission, oddly enough. We've been like overwhelmed with DSG lately here. But so he has all these concerns, and I'm listening to his concerns, and every one of the things he's concerned about are normal behaviors of the transmission. Now, we can argue all day long whether these things should be or shouldn't be, but they're normal for the transmission. So he's looking at me like, this punk doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. And of course, I'm bundled up because it's freezing outside. So I explained to him why all these things are happening, and he still wasn't very nice about it, but I think it took him back on the fact that I could actually talk to this guy and explain what was going on. So let's first talk about looking professional. Again, look at me. I mean, I'm not a professional looking guy in the traditional sense, but that's okay. Traditionally, I think when most people think of someone that is a professional, they think suit and tie or, very clean cut person. And, I don't know, I don't really think of it that way, but that's, I think, the traditional thing, or they're in a uniform where head to toe everything matches. And it's perfectly put together, and they basically look like they came off the assembly line of the next 10 or 15 other people that are in the building. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. There's a certain level of uniformity, so to say, that I think places need, especially when we're working in the automotive industry. You expect the technician to have a technician's type shirt on. You expect a service advisor to have, some sort of polo or something. Our advisors wear tie-dye, which is hilarious, and I know they all hate it. But, part of that I'm okay with. I like wearing shop shirts, mostly because they have a pocket right here. And I worked enough retail in my life to be comfortable never wearing another polo shirt again. But, that look, that expectation, to me, is less about the clothes you have on and more about the way you carry yourself. For example, someone, let's say, that has a uniform tucked in and their pants are, properly lengthed and everything's great, but their shoes aren't tied and they're dragging their feet everywhere they walk. Well, to me, that's not professional, even though 99% of what you look like is professional. Now, back the other way, take me, who I don't tuck my shirt in at work just because, honestly, it's a little too small for me at work. But I don't tuck my shirt in. I either have a hat on or, my hair looks something crazy like this. Obviously, I have a pretty big beard, which, again, doesn't always lend itself to professionalism. And, I joke around a lot just because I think the job is fun. And, man, if you can't joke around in the automotive world, it's a sad, sad time. So to me, that look, that quote-unquote look of professionalism obviously is open to interpretation, but I think a lot of times people have this expectation of, salesmen wear suit and ties, service advisors wear polo shirts, technicians wear grubby old clothing. whatever they drug out of the laundry to just throw on this morning, or they've been bathing out in oil and, they're just dirty and greasy. And some of us are, but, it's being clean to me really in this venue is more important than having a particular uniform in it. And this idea of professionalism, as far as the look goes, really sort of to me becomes sterile and boring. And if this is you, don't be upset about it. It's just my opinion. As always, everything I say on this show is just my opinion. To me, it's sterile and boring, and you lose that individualism that I think makes our jobs fun. It makes a place that we go to all the time and we spend so much time and energy at. It makes it a little more fun, and people can sort of be themselves. So you don't have to look professional in a traditional sense, especially in the automotive industry. But to be honest, you do have to have a certain level of professionalism. So that's why we're talking looking versus acting or being professional. Because despite the fact that I don't look professional in any traditional sense, the way I am at work is professional, and that's interaction with customers, at every opportunity, interaction with coworkers. And we talked a lot about, in episode 27, being a good technician, habits that really good technicians, and it applies to any worker, would have, be on time, work with your customers, and really just overall do a kick-butt job. Because if you are good at what you do, you can look like whatever you want. Now, if you just graduated UTI and you look like this, an employer might not be as likely to hire you. But I promise you, if you put 5 or 6 years in and get all your certifications, get a huge customer base, fix cars like nobody's business, have a really high fix right first time score, I'm not going to be so concerned as to what you look like, because I know you have the skills to back it up. And I think that's where a lot of young guys get hooked up, is that they think I should be able to look like whatever I want. And I agree with you, but it's almost like you have to earn that. You have to earn the right to look like what you want to by proving the fact that you can do the job. The being professional is really more about the actions than the look. And, to be fair to employers, I don't want a bunch of guys that look like scumbags working for me when I can hire somebody that may not look 100% traditional professional, but does a really great job. So there is kind of a balance there. So if you want to look like however you want to, I think it's great. I think, tattoos up and down the arms, crazy hairdo, stupid beard, awesome beard, big holes in your ears, fine. No problem with any of that. But there's some things that you got to have to sort of back that up. You still got to be clean, because getting in and out of a customer's car, for example, when you're dirty and smelly, is gross, and they don't want that. And I know I would be pissed if I took my car in to get service and it stunk like BO. Like, was that a Seinfeld episode? I think that happened. So you don't want to be that guy. 2, you really got to be awesome. If you want to look like a knucklehead, you got to be good at your job. You got to be able to fix cars. You got to be able to diagnose cars. You have to be able to talk to customers. Like I mentioned earlier, this guy was looking at me like I didn't know how to do anything but change oil, and I'm explaining to him these very advanced things about a DSG transmission. Of course, he has no idea what I'm talking about, but as his brain is trying to process that, okay, this guy looks kind of ridiculous, but man, he really knows what he's talking about. You earn that credibility with people. You earn that credibility with the management of your dealership or service station. You earn that credibility with, honestly, to me, more importantly, you earn it with your customers, because without them, there's no need for management. So there's, in many cases in my work experience at other jobs, there's been no need for some of that management altogether. But that's probably another show topic. You have to be able to prove yourself, though, and be really awesome. And, again, talk to customers, fix cars, do a good job, have your paperwork lined up, put your stories in, put your notes in, but most importantly, fix cars. And you really have to kind of have some thick skin about it. I was talking to my wife about me doing this show, because She's forever having crazy colored hair and whatnot, and I think it's awesome. And you get certain people that really look down on you for that, and then you get other people that think it's great and think that it's cool that you have some type of employment where you can do whatever you want to do and look however you want. And I think a lot of people really envy that, is sort of why they get mad at it. But she said the crazier her hair was, the initial response was like, wow, that's, was that your natural hair color? But once sort of the ice got broken of the conversation, people were really interested about it and thought it was cool that she could do these crazy things with her hair. But you really do have to be ready to be judged by every single person that you come in contact with. And I know I get it, and I'm okay with it. I had hair down to like the middle of my back, and man, people would be like, "You're gonna fix my car?" You could see it in their face. And a couple minutes, I'd joke around with them a little bit, and you really win them over when you when you just kind of joke around with them and whatnot. But at the end of it, you have to be ready for these people to almost look down on you. Now, I think it's dumb, and it's not fair, and it's stupid, and all of those things that you want to say about it, but it doesn't really matter. It's the truth. So just be ready for that. Final thoughts on being professional. I think, again, it's more about the actions that you take than specifically how you look. I think you have to really look at what we talked about in episode 27, and I'll put a link to that episode in the show notes. And that was really all about how to be a successful technician. Again, on time, fix cars, work with your customers, but be this professional-minded person while looking however you want, and you'll pretty much be able to do it however you want to do it. You can have a big beard if you want. You can have, crazy mohawk, purple hair, whatever. And most places are going to be fine with that if you got the skills to back it up. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. What I'd love to know is your thoughts on this. I think this is one that a lot of people are really going to have some strong opinions on, and I'd love to hear it, especially from technicians who maybe don't look like, what would be quote unquote the typical professional person, and customers. How do you guys feel about it? What would you think if I walked up front and you wanted to take a test drive with me, and with, my goofy hat or a big beard, or, if I was wearing this Ferrari jacket, you would probably be pretty impressed, I'd like to think. But anyway, guys, you know where to post the comment. It's down in the comment section below on YouTube or on the blog or on Facebook for that matter. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget you can subscribe on YouTube or on the blog. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll have links to all that stuff in the show notes, as well as to episode 27. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.